Harry, thanks for joining me in the full-on football studio tonight.
Yeah, pleasure to be here, mate. Thanks for having me here.
Right, Harry, I want to get straight into it tonight. High intensity, just like Jurgen Klopp's counter-pressing football, straight into it. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, Man United, get it off your chest.
Right, so I want to start with performances, what we see. What I've seen from Man United for about... Apart from the interim period of Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, since the day he signed that contract when Rio Ferdinand made it impossible for the club not to give him that contract. Remember that, the feel-good factor around the club.
So he's to blame.
He's a big factor, mate. I think how carried away everyone used to get at that time. You remember it. United probably, I think it was 17 games unbeaten, just went to Paris Saint-Germain and won.
Ole's at the wheel.
Ole's at the wheel. How good did it feel? It felt good, good. I got carried away, I'm not going to lie. It was great. The day he signed that contract is the day things changed. The fearlessness, the energy, the flair, the just excitement around it seemed to just fade almost overnight. And since then, we've seen what we've come to see every single week. This is not a new thing. Last season's second place finish was a false position.
Completely false.
If anyone thought any different, a lot of people got carried away. Gary Neville, you've seen him on Monday Night Football, you talk about it. Building, I get that. He wants to believe. Everyone wants to believe. And it feels good to think that Ole is the man to build this team. I've had periods where I've believed it a bit, that I think there's going somewhere. But ultimately, what I see every week has not lied to me once, right? What we see every week. Lack of movement. The movement off the ball of Manchester United is poor. It is poor and it has been for 18 months. We do not score well-worked goals very often. It's often we're knocking it around. Movement's poor, energy's poor. Bruno puts one in the top locker.
It's individual brilliance every time, isn't it? It's Mason Greenwood from 30 yards, a Ronaldo header.
100%. Individual brilliance, winning games, unlocking defences, not with a great piece of football, with a great moment, right? Which I get. There's times and a place for it. I look back to the Vincent Kompany goal against Leicester all those years, was it 3 years ago?
Yeah. That
was one of those moments. They're few and far between. On the whole, your bread and butter is well-worked football, intensity, like Liverpool against Watford at the weekend. Just, war of attrition, keep going, and we will just score goals, right? Movement poor. Lack of ideas, same sort of thing. No one knows what the next pass is. Lack of a vision. Doesn't know his best team. 2.5 years down the line, however much money spent, still don't know his best team. And I watch them and I just think, they look unfit. They look like they're not as fit as the other team, and I don't get that. Big point about no one knows what their role is, no one knows what their next pass is. That's the real bugbear for me. I've watched Aston Villa play Man United off the park the other week. They haven't spent much money. They haven't got superstars all over the pitch. They literally are a well-coached team with good players that all know their roles. That is why they beat us. Everton, the same, and Leicester at the weekend. The football they play, everyone knows their role. Again, great coaching, great from the training ground. And that brings me on to my point, Ben. Why is this narrative that seems to be in the media, seems to be with all the pundits, often it's the ex-Man United lads, it's Paul Scholes, it's Rio Ferdinand, it's Gary Neville, that Ole needs another transfer window. Ole needs to buy this player, that player. Why is it all about spending money and not about what we are seeing on the pitch from tactical point of view, from a coaching point of view?
I hear it all the time. So it's about Kieran Trippier, it's about Declan Rice, and to a degree I think, look, you're holding midfielder, right back. I think Wan-Bissaka's okay, but I don't think he's going to win you a league, honestly. I think you get away with two players like him in the side, maybe carry two players of that ilk, but Kieran Trippier's a better right back than him, so I do get it. Obviously, it will improve the side, but ultimately, the individuals you've got, I don't want to hear the excuses. You've got good players, and I look at Liverpool, for example. That's your main rivals, and I'm thinking back to when you're signing the likes of Pogba, you're signing Cavani, you're signing Ronaldo, you're signing Bruno Fernandes. You are bringing in players at the point of which you're signing them. They were at a higher point than Mane, Salah, Firmino when they're coming into Liverpool. Now, I know that'll raise a few eyebrows because the front three of Liverpool are way ahead of, these players at Man United now. But they weren't when they came in. That's a winger from Southampton, Mane. He's a good player, there's no doubt about that. But when he came in, £34 million signing, Man United have 50 million players in every position.
100%.
There's no excuse for it. And, as far as I'm concerned, I look at I always bang on about balance, midfield balance. I'm looking at it, you're 4 years, 5 years on with Paul Pogba. I'm sorry to pick on him, but where do you play him? Where does he fit into this team? You don't know your best team. You don't know your best shape. And I look at, here's a big one. It's all about pressing from the front. It's all about players buying into philosophy. Ronaldo's not going to press, but Ronaldo is going to score you goals. Firstly, no service. No service from Cristiano Ronaldo. Get crosses in the box, because you're not doing that, right? And secondly, Mason Greenwood don't press. No excuses. Ronaldo doesn't press. Can be forgiven. The one inside that does that. Do you know what I mean? You've got Pogba doesn't press. You're playing 4-2-3-1. 4 passengers out of the ball.
Unbelievable.
You cannot do that in the modern football. And it's tactically inept from Solskjaer. But you're going to tell me more about that. Tactically inept.
Well, you look back to the Europa League final, Villarreal. We stunk the place out. I don't know if you watched the game. Appalling game of football. Absolutely appalling.
Lucky that you got the penalties, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. The writing was on the wall at that time. And again, it comes back to it. If we'd have won that game, people say, well, yeah, we got to penalties. It could have been different if it was a penalty shoot. Yeah, but I come back to every single time. My eyes do not lie to me. What I seen last season, on the whole, 90% of performances were poor. Beating Southampton, a 10-man Southampton at Old Trafford 9-0 wasn't because we were superb. It's because they had a man sent off after 8 minutes. Beating Leeds at Old Trafford 6-2, whatever it was. We got 2 early goals, and yeah, it looked great. But the counter-attack is always on against Leeds, no matter what.
Yeah, and the
counter-attack is always on against Leeds.
Look at their league form this season. You're not the only side, are you? So.
100%. And, performances, we've actually been the better side. I mean this. Listen to what I'm saying. This is factually true. If you look at the games, we've been the better side in 2 games of football this season. 2 games of football. In 11 fixtures, we've only been the better side twice. In those 2 games, Leeds at Old Trafford, 1-1 after an hour. Easily could have been a different game. Newcastle, you watched that game. How Ronaldo's first game back, we weren't very good, really. And Newcastle broke on several occasions and could have scored.
Yeah, I'm going to say now, look, you were the better side, there's no doubt about that. But I said to you on the day, feel-good factor with Ronaldo, 2 mistakes and Ronaldo scored 2 goals. That's great. And there were many times where Newcastle broke the midfield with ease. Yeah. Sliced through you and run into the back 4. You get away with it against Newcastle. You don't get away with it against Liverpool on the weekend.
We don't. And the 2 teams we have beat, Newcastle and Leeds, have won 1 league game between them so far this season. That tells you all you need to know, really. That game, obviously, it's a Europa League final, was poor. The writing's on the wall, and it's sort of phased over into this season. Now, but style of play, Klopp, you've seen it from day one. I remember, funnily enough, Carragher mentioned it yesterday on Monday Night Football, that Tottenham game. I remember it, the energy that they brought to it. Improving players. Adam Lallana on that day. Did Adam Lallana score? Or was it Origi scored on that game?
Adam Lallana, yeah.
Adam Lallana scored. He's improved, you mentioned it, every single player that plays for Liverpool.
Yeah.
Are there any players that Ollie, you can clearly see he has improved them since he's been at the club?
I'm going to give him Greenwood. I'm going to give him that one. But that's probably the extent of it.
But would he have done that anyway, though?
Well, yeah, there is an element of that. Of course there is. But, he broke through the side under his stewardship, if we'll call it that. But, yeah, and he's been a wonderful player so far. But, yeah, there is an element of natural talent. Perhaps he'd have just broke through and done it anyway. But on the tactically inept thing, we're talking about top-level managers here. We're talking about Jurgen Klopp, Thomas Tuchel, Guardiola. And I'm thinking about Ole's game management, and I'm thinking it's poor. It stinks. And I'm thinking about that Ronaldo selection. I said to you the other week, you leave Ronaldo on the bench against Everton. If you do that and you win the game, it's not a problem. Mm-hmm. He is 36. I understand the reasonings, but it's inexcusable if you don't win. And he didn't win. So ultimately, that's 2 points dropped. You might not make the Champions League this year, and those 2 points might be the difference. So 100%. It's naivety. You can't do that as a manager. It's easy for me to say it in hindsight. You win the game, different story, like I said, but you didn't win the game.
And when they brought him on, I was at the game, he hardly touched a ball. They've brought him on after an hour, and he hasn't touched the ball. The subs are so predictable. Often he brings Van der Beek on with 4 minutes to go. What? I don't understand it. I do not understand some of the things he does. In that Europa League, Champions League game against Young Boys, takes Ronaldo off for 10 minutes to go when we needed a goal. We end up losing the game 2-1. It just doesn't make any sense at all, and he never seems to get it right. Now, on the whole, when he come into the club, however long that was ago, 3 years, almost 3 years ago now, 18th of December, I think, was his first game, or when Mourinho got sacked.
Good memory.
Is the team better now than it was then?
Okay, so you're talking continuous improvement there, and yeah, I think it is. I'm going to have to give him that. I think, in terms of continuous improvement, I think he has improved season on season, and I always back a manager that is improving. So you look at, again, we'll go your direct rivals. We'll go Jurgen Klopp. When Jurgen Klopp comes in Liverpool, they're sort of 8th place. Yeah, the next season they're in the top 4. Then they're Champions League final. Then they're finishing second in the league. Then they're winning the league. There's a continuous improvement, and you can believe in the process, and you can buy into that. The difference with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer is this: Klopp came in and implemented a style of play from day one, and it was visible for everyone to see. It took 6 months, a year, and even though they weren't the top dogs in the league, finishing 4th, they were a good side, and you knew what they were trying to do. To add to that, he had a CV that buys him time. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has neither of those two things. So yes, he's improved them on a continuous basis, but they're miles away, and I'm still not quite sure what he's trying to do.
Just want to have a quick point about Ole's CV. Now, this is not me trying to... Bear in mind, I love Ole, and I am desperate for him to succeed. I'm just trying to be pragmatic with what I see, as opposed to emotional, because that doesn't get you anywhere. Chelsea aren't emotional about decisions. That's why they're successful. Liverpool, the same. Man City, the same. Liverpool, sacking Kenny Dalglish must have been so tough.
Yeah, of course, from an emotional standpoint, club legend. Probably the biggest club legend in terms of player and manager.
Yeah, absolutely. But was that the right thing at that time? Absolutely. I think it's been proven that. Rodgers come in, did well, and obviously since then Klopp. So acting on emotion does not help at all. So being pragmatic, looking at his CV, did a good job at Mould, half a season at Cardiff. You ask a Cardiff fan, probably one of the worst managers they've had in recent years. Yeah, struggled, really struggled. Don't get me wrong, difficult circumstances, difficult owner, difficult chairman. However, he's then landed the biggest job in world football on the back of that CV.
Certainly top 5, yeah.
Which, to me, he's very much learning on the job, and I think you can see that in his interviews, in his in-game management, like you said, tactically inept. You do feel like he's learning on the job. Ben, is that right for Manchester United? Is there managers with better CVs that would have been a better alternative than that?
Well, you talk about managers with other better CVs. Well, I'll name you a few. So you look at Sean Dyche at Burnley. Now, that's a manager that's continuously kept Burnley up in the Premier League, has got Burnley promoted, and has also got Watford promoted in the past, kept them in the Premier League. And obviously, in terms of direct comparisons, Solskjaer got relegated with Cardiff. So that's 1-0 Sean Dyche, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
I know you talk about like Eddie Howe, different brand of football and all of that sort of stuff. Took Bournemouth, which, let's be honest, League One club, really.
Absolutely.
I know for what they are now, but in terms of the size of club, historically, about League One club, got them from League Two to the Premier League, playing an attractive brand of football, kept them there for a long time, overachieved. Again, better CV than Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. The big one for me, I'm going to throw a name at you.
Go on.
Arguably, and this is a manager I really didn't rate. I really did not rate this manager. But in terms of just purely the CV, Alex McLeish has a better CV than Ole.
Yeah.
Well, he does, because I'll tell you why. He's won things at Rangers, right? He's won things at Rangers. Is Rangers a tougher league than the Norwegian league? I'd argue it probably is.
I don't know enough about the Norwegian league.
Well, neither do I, but on the basis of that, it probably is. They probably do better in Europe. And secondly, he got relegated with Birmingham City, which I thought was failure, by the way. No different to Ole getting relegated with Cardiff, really. Maybe it's a little bit worse with Birmingham. Did win the League Cup, though. So based on that, he probably had more right to have this Man United job. He's just got the job off the back of being a club legend. He was an interim manager, rode the wave of momentum. Would you give Roy Keane the job now? Would you give Gary Neville the job now? No, you wouldn't. They ain't got a CV for it. So why is Solskjaer in the job in the first place? Having said that, in terms of on merit, he's done quite well. Like I said, he has done fairly well. So it'd be a harsh sacking. But we talk about sacking on merit. And like I've said to you before, Nigel Pearson, he didn't deserve to be sacked.
No.
Leicester won the league the following year. Frank Lampard didn't deserve to be sacked, really. That was very harsh.
No, 100%. We said that on here, didn't we? We made a big episode about it. Yeah.
Look what happened there.
Yeah, 100%. No, you're absolutely right. And that's the long and short of it. Ole's done a good job. He's done a good job. but he is not an elite manager, and he's not going to win the big prizes. You talk of Alex McLeish, won a League Cup at Birmingham.
Yeah.
Superb. Roberto Martinez at Wigan.
Yeah.
Exactly the same. FA Cup. Are they elite managers off the back of winning a League Cup and an FA Cup?
No, absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely not.
So why is it seen that, Ollie needs to win a trophy if he wins a League Cup, if he wins an FA Cup, if he wins a Europa League? To me, that doesn't change a lot. The two main trophies, really, if we're being brutally honest, are the Champions League, because I don't care how you win the Champions League, you've won the Champions League,
Yeah.
and the Premier League.
Yeah.
I'm not discrediting the other trophies, but a poor side can win those. As we've just mentioned, with Birmingham City went down, Wigan went down the following week after winning the FA Cup, and it does not make you a good side in the same way it doesn't make you a top manager winning those trophies. So this idea that if Ollie wins an FA Cup is progress, it is progress, I get that, but it doesn't change what we see every week, which is a Manchester United side that look out of ideas, they look undercoached, underworked, and quite frankly, they just don't look like a happy team. Winning a League Cup will not solve that. The same way that if Spurs beat Man City in the League Cup final back in April, that would not have changed anything. They were still a poor side, even if they'd have won that game. So on the basis of that, does he deserve to be sacked? You're absolutely right. He probably doesn't, but he's not good enough. So why delay the inevitable when there's so much of the season still to play? Chelsea acted at the perfect time and they won a European Cup.
And I'll put it to you differently. Does he deserve to be sacked right now based on merit?
No.
No, he doesn't. But if I was to ask you the question slightly differently, is he the man to deliver you the Premier League or the Champions League?
No.
The answer is no. So therefore, are you going to sit or are you going to stick or twist? You're going to twist, aren't you? And that's what you have to do at this point. You've got no option but to twist. And to be honest, mate, well, I think the fan base are getting that way now as well, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, definitely. People I spoke to, it's definitely reluctantly admitting that it's only going one way and the writing's on the wall.
There you have it. 8 games into the league season. Ollie's at the wheel, but for how much longer? This is full on football.